Do you feel sometimes that your brain is stuck in the clouds, like there's a fog? Like you start to think or you cannot remember things properly, your decision making is a little bit impaired, or you're not working at your best. You might be suffering of brain fog, and it's a real thing. Once you know that you accept that you're suffering from that, then you can put the next steps to fix it, and you start taking for granted that thinking and solving problems and remembering things is not hard. Our brains could be very strong and very good, and it's not your genetics, it's not that you just are like that because you got older, but rather things that are happening in your life are causing this brain fog. And in this video, I'm gonna talk many things we can do to solve them, to improve our symptoms, and to be able to reclaim our cognitive strength, to be able again to solve problems, to remember things, to feel good in our brain that we're working at our best capacity without the need of maybe ChatGPT to do a very easy math problem that you could have just done in your head because you cannot think properly. So let's see. I wouldn't call brain fog like a disease itself, but it's rather a collection of different symptoms that are very annoying and that affects our day-to-day lives. According to the experts at the Cleveland Clinic, brain fog means difficulty concentrating. For example, you're trying to read an email, but your eyes just skim over the words like they are speed bumps. So now let's see what are the causes of brain fog. Some of them might be really obvious to you, and some others might be something that you were not really expecting or that be really affecting your life. So let's pay really attention to what are some of the possible cases so you can fix it in your life. Start today. The first one is the most clear, lack of sleep. I talk about this in my channel a lot. If you don't sleep properly, or if you are consuming drugs or having behaviors that affects your sleep quality, even if you sleep long enough, you will not have a good quality of sleep. The rule here is that you should at least sleep 7, 8, or 9 hours per night, and then you should feel refreshed. Because even if you sleep enough time, there might be a chance that you didn't sleep deep enough. For example, if you drink alcohol or you consume marijuana, the next day you won't feel as good and refreshed even if you sleep long enough. Another one that is very clear is stress. And this is of course psychological. If you're in a moment, you're a lot of stress, maybe at work, maybe something happened in your personal life, or there's things that are happening around where you live that put you a lot of stress, this is normal that this can cause a brain fog. And of course, this is a very personal thing, but you should be aware that a lot of stress might be affecting your capacity of your brain. So you're trying to deal with this stress. Maybe you have to solve problems at work and your brain is not working properly. And it's directly linked about how you perceive the stress. Stress is normal, but how we deal with it is how it affects our lives. And there are many things you can do to lower your stress, maybe change your environment if you can, and get into things like meditation, doing sports, even change your diet could reduce your general way of how you perceive stress. But this of course is a case-by-case scenario. But you really need to understand that there is a strong link between your stress and your brain performance. Another one is poor nutrition. And I don't want to make this video longer, but the best way you can improve your nutrition is reduce the processed food, increase your consumption of fruit, vegetables, beans, nuts, everything that comes directly from the ground. And very close to this is lack of hydration. We might be eating well and correctly, but we are not drinking enough water. And maybe we're even doing so much sports, or we're in the summer and it's sweating a lot and you're not consuming enough water. There was a study they did for kids in a school, and the only thing they did is that the first thing they did in the morning, before they start their lectures, is that they gave water, a cup or 2 cups of water to every kid. And the results were astonishing. For the kids that they gifted, their exams grades went up, the perception of the teachers that the kids were performing better went up. I think for some SAT scores, they also went up for those that were also done for teenagers. And in general, increased the performance. I think they claimed it was up to 30% just by giving them water. Because what they notice is the kids sometimes they wake up just a few minutes before they come to school. they have a very poor breakfast that may be something fast that the parent didn't have time, and they didn't even drink water, so they come semi-dehydrated in the morning and the brain is not performing properly, their body is tired, and they don't feel the best energy. And once they give them water, just water, it helps them to improve their performance. So just give it a try as well. I mention this often, but alcohol and drugs. A lot of brain fog is caused by just drinking. And for many people it's obvious, if you drink a lot and you try to do anything, you're drunk, you cannot perform, or the next day when you're hungover, you really have this massive brain fog. But some people ignore that even if you are very responsible, you only drink a little bit, you can still experience at least a minor brain fog the next days or even weeks after just one drink. And if you don't believe me, just try the experiment of quitting alcohol or even marijuana for longer periods, and you will see how your brain performs better and you can even remember things faster. Now this is another one, mold or intoxication. And many people don't talk about this. And some of them might be obvious. If you eat food that is poisonous, then you might affect how your brain develops. But there's other things that happen. Maybe you have mold in your apartment or in your house, and you don't pay attention to that. But this mold is producing mycotoxins and chemicals that affect how your brain works and performs. So I will really put everyone to really be careful to find and combat mold around your house. Sometimes this mold could be hidden in places that you don't know, but still the air is going through that and you're breathing that and you are getting exposed to this mycotoxin. So really be careful in that, especially those who live in your old houses. Check ventilation and check everything that you're not being exposed to mold. And if you do, there are many ways to get it clear. There are chemicals that you can buy, or just look in the internet how to get rid of the mold. But this is a hidden cause of brain fog many people ignore, and you should pay attention to that because this might be causing you a lot of problems to you and your family and people that live with you. Another one is poor mental health. We talk about stress, but maybe some other parts of your mental health has not been worked correctly. Even people that are depressed, one of their symptoms will be this strong brain fog that is well connected and well known, but in general, you need to be able to feel present. And if you are thinking about your past or your future, you're not present. And this affects how your brain works. Suffering about the past or being anxious about the future, then you cannot perform at your best and you have this cloud because it's like part of your brain is already occupied to tasks that you don't really need to do. If you think this is a problem for you, maybe find a therapist, maybe find a guide, and try things like meditation, doing sports, breath work. They sound cliche, but they do work. Another one is hormonal changes. This can be caused by different reasons. I will do a lot of video about why people can suffer hormonal changes, but one is could be age, or for women, depending on their cycle, they of course experience these hormone changes. And this could affect, depending on the woman, their cognitive performance, because at some points they feel that the way you perform and the way you perceive life is differently. So you should be aware of this, and women in general that still have their normal cycle, you should just accept it and understand it, and maybe plan your life accordingly, that at some point in your month, you might be less cognitive, let's say, able than another part of your month, and then you accept that and you understand it, and you know you need to optimize your life more for these specific days, or maybe wait for doing very strong cognitive work around other days. And this also for people in general around that accept it as well. And I think that's very important, is that if you have women in your life, or maybe your partner, family, friends, or at work, that at specific points in their life, of the month, for example, they might not be at their best or their 100%. And this is totally normal. And we should, as society, talk about it, accept it, and just, embrace it. And then, okay, this time I don't understand. This is not based on your period or whatever. You're not working at the best. This is okay. And we understand that, and we support each other in these moments. And I think this is the beauty of society and humanity, that we can support each other when we are not our best. And one last one is, of course, diseases. Some are chronic diseases, some maybe even very harsh things like a tumor or a cancer. or even people that experience long COVID or maybe also sequela from influenza or from other infections, they might also be suffering from brain fog. If you're experiencing long COVID, you should definitely get treated. There are things that could improve a lot your symptoms, but you should get to a specialist. You should not just say, okay, I got COVID and now I have long COVID and this is just going to be the rest of my life. That is not the case. There are treatments, and I know people personally that had very severe symptoms and they got treated and they were able to improve their symptoms over time to be able to go and live a healthier and normal life. So if you think you're suffering from long COVID or sequela from another infection, it can also be from influenza or from other, let's say, just a viral infection that you had, get treatment. Get treated. There are options and you're not alone, and there's things that can be done. Thank you very much. And you need to know that this brain fog is not you. It's something that's affecting you, and it can be temporary and you can treat it. You should not accept that your brain is not working properly. You should not accept that you forget things when you're 30 years old. You should not accept that you cannot do simple math or forget the names of your friends or colleagues or important dates just because you're suffering from brain fog. This is not normal and it can be treated, and you should pay attention to this, and you should not accept that your life needs to be this way. So thank you very much for listening, and I wish you a speedy recovery if you are suffering from brain fog.